Welcome to episode 5 of the Real Talk Trader. I'm Gemma, and today we've got the lovely Brad with us. He's going to share his journey with us. He's been trading since 2019, and we're really going to focus on mindset because Brad nearly lost his life. So he is going to share his story, how he's overcome any mental fears that he's had, and where he is now. He's a fully automated trader. Welcome, Brad. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Excited to be here on your new channel and your new podcast. So yeah, thank you very much for having me along.
It's a pleasure. So let's start from the beginning then. Tell us a bit about you, your journey, and then we'll get into the trading side of things.
So yeah, I'm from a town sort of not far from Birmingham. I grew up there. Pretty much all my life. Usual conventional system of sort of school and then college, and then I went to university.
What did you do at uni?
So I did business, finance, and accountancy.
Okay.
So I've always been sort of quite interested in sort of business and finance. My first job, I went straight into an office job. Yeah, quite lucky that the finance director there called me and asked me to join them full time. So I joined there in September in Birmingham in a finance position. I really enjoyed it. To be fair, it was sort of, I was young. I was like 21, and it was kind of like in the hustle and bustle. And at the time, sort of enjoyed the vibe and like sort of everything that went with it. Sort of going out and the lifestyle. But yeah, it was quite long hours and it was hard work. The commute was already quite a lot for me. Sort of getting into city centre Birmingham. So I moved company, had a completely different experience in the corporate world at the company I moved to. I don't regret it because it taught me a lot in terms of, I pretty much hated every day of it when I went there.
What did you hate about it?
Well, I went there and it was sort of they were going to pay to put me through my professional sort of accounting exams. That was sort of I moved. It was complete culture change. I went from a small firm to a massive firm.
To just being a number.
Yeah, literally. And I've gone from like kind of a family-ish atmosphere, which was a lot more friendly and a lot more, sort of closer to, just mercenary, really. I hated the culture. It was really not nice at all.
So you left that company?
I did, yeah. I left after 6 months at that place. I actually took my notice with me in my bag for about 3 months. Every day. I used to go in dreading it.
God.
But I still went. I still carried on, and in the end, I just got fed up, and it was just like,
What was that? What was the moment that made you think, I need to hand my notice in now and get out of this corporate world?
Sort of the backstabbing, really. It's not an environment where you can grow. I don't know if you've ever seen the analogy of like a plant with like the soil, when it's like in the wrong environment.
Go on.
It doesn't like grow, and then if you put it in the right environment and you water it, it flourishes.
It flourishes.
I think that's like with everything in life, really. I've always been very entrepreneurial and very driven and business minded. And I've always had my own little businesses. Tried to get something like going myself, sort of like not a wholesaling, but like online e-commerce, maybe like drop shipping, stuff like that. But also through like online platforms like eBay and stuff like that.
How did you find that? Because obviously the first interview we did with Tom, he talks about this, and then this is where Ryan started. So how did you find it? Obviously you're trading now, so unless you're doing both, then
no. Yeah, so I found that really interesting, and you mentioned about Tom. He said about Amazon FBA, which I actually did as well. But yeah, I actually loved as well something that Tom said, because I found his story like, he was quite inspiring, because he really, I think you said, oh, he's got his fingers in many pies, but like it's really inspiring because he's not just like a plumber. He's not just focusing on forex. He's doing so many different things to really better himself and improve his life. And he's trying like so many different things. It's quite yeah. I find it quite admirable. Like, but I loved one of the things he said because I kind of relate to it really with some of my journey. But he said when he was 30, he wanted 10 houses or something by the time he was 40.
Yeah.
And he's now 38 and he's got 8, so he's got to do
Yeah.
another each year. but he said everyone laughed at him, and like everyone like mocked it or like laughed him out, Oh, but I love that he then had the reaction to be like, well, you'll see.
Yeah,
Like, he just
it
kept
triggered him a
working,
treat.
worked in silence, and he's sort of it's shown, and I love that sort of silent sort of success whereby his actions put into words, like, and he doesn't need to speak for it. It
Exactly.
speaks for itself, and I love that sort of mentality. It's really good.
I always like to think of it with mindset and everything is the more doubters you have, the more you will get out of life, the more of a success and the goals that you will achieve, you will get there. The more people that are nibbling away at your ankles saying, you're not going to do this. Why are you doing that? It's pointless. It doesn't make you money, when actually it does.
Yeah, it's the same training, isn't it? Yeah, and
Yeah.
the thing is, it's always like the majority, and I mean, I can't speak for everyone, I don't want to be disrespectful, but I often find that the people who are commenting like that and sort of, if anything, bringing a bit of negativity or bad energy, or, they're a bit like, perhaps, I don't know, envious, or they've got their own things they're projecting. I think that they're often not really doing much themselves, or, they want to be doing what you're doing. They want to have your courage and they want to have your mentality. So you just have to crack on, keep going.
You've had to overcome quite a bit though. So if we can go on to that bit of your story, and because I feel like this bit will really help, because you have really pulled yourself out of quite a dark place to get where you are now.
Yeah, and then in 2021, I had kind of the rug pulled from under my feet out of nowhere, really. When I got ill, I had the in hindsight, obviously it was a bad decision, but I had the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine in Feb 21.
And this one jab changed your life, didn't it?
It really did, sadly. Yeah, I didn't know it at the time, but then it was a little bit after. It was in the April. I just randomly one day started to get symptoms. April 22nd, 2021. I just woke up one day and started to get symptoms of my ulcerative colitis, which I got diagnosed when I was 12. But I'd been in remission for 14 years, 13, 14 years. I had no symptoms whatsoever. And actually at the time, there was no other things it could be, because I've analysed it like 4 million times.
I bet you have.
But who knows? But yeah, this time they gave me steroids and stuff, and it just wasn't really working. But it got me through-ish for the next few months, until sadly the October, which I then basically switched medications, which was also, in hindsight, a bit of an error from me, because they just said, oh, it's similar to the one you take, it's just a different version. And then, so I just sort of went on it, and I just slightly started to improve as well, because I'd actually been on holiday in Bulgaria in September for 2 weeks. And in the second week, I got better, which was really odd. I don't know if it was the stress relief or the food there, because my partner's from there. And I normally go there once or twice a year. But the food there is like pure, really, as you can get.
Yeah,
sort of
not like us with all our processed food and
completely different. Like the food I was pretty much eating was from my mother-in-law's garden. She'd literally go and pick them, and it'd be fresh for tea. And it was like I was having that, and I got better in the second week. And then I came home, and then I just changed this medication, and I went on it. I remember all the dates because of the trauma, but October 10th, and I was on it for 2 weeks. But yeah, I immediately got super ill. I had like a
Okay.
reaction or something to the drug, and it made me like now I have, but at the time I'd never been so ill in my life. It was awful. It was giving me horrendous abdominal pain. I was never seen so much blood passing in my life,
Oh
and I had like
wow.
terrible migraines and stuff. Things started to get serious because they then escalated my treatment. There's like 3 levels of treatment. The sort of first level, the second level, which starts to get more serious stuff. Um, you've got your top level, which is biologics,
Mhm.
which are not very pleasant at all. Really, it's starting to enter quite a not a very nice game when you enter on those. So yeah, then they said that I needed to go on a biologic, and they at the time said they wanted to put me on their best and strongest one, which was in December 21. I went on that, and that was also really really psychologically challenging because of myself and my family to go on a drug like that, because there was a process based, because they're so expensive. You have to get
Yeah.
funding for it. So it took like 4 to 6 weeks before I could go on it. In that time, I was just suffering basically. I was ill because it sent me into a massive flare with the previous one that
Yeah.
failed.
Yeah.
I went on that, but when you're going on those sorts of drugs, if you ever look at the side effects are very real and very um, not pleasant to read. You know, when you've got like 30,
Mhm.
40% chances risk of cancer and stuff, and you've got nausea, sickness. I did lose some of my hair and stuff. I used to lose it in the shower. Thankfully, I kept the majority of it, but that was horrendous as someone in your mid
I bet it
twenties.
was.
Absolutely.
How did you keep going? How did your mindset switch?
So my first 2 years, I did all the NHS treatments, everything they told me to the book, and that was when, sadly, it put me in a position where during those times I nearly lost my life, but it left me at the end of those 2 years whereby I was literally dying because of the detrimental effect that
Yeah,
basically
everything that had
had
happened
done
to
to
your
me.
body.
Yeah, 2022, they've been wanting to do major surgery for me to just have a back permanently, but I didn't want that, and I wanted to keep
Uh-huh.
going. Um,
So you turned to trading during this time?
yes, yeah. So I started training. Well, I first started training when I was about 16. I used to
Okay.
trade stocks. Yeah, I don't think you can trade when you're 16, but I somehow did. I had my savings in my bank account. I was fortunate to have a bit of money, and yeah, I started trading stocks.
If we move forward then,
Yeah,
so you've been really ill. Like
yeah.
you nearly lost your life. How, in one sentence, what is your drive to be where you are now?
I think like my why.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my why are probably two things. I think my main one would obviously be my illness, because
Yeah.
it's very easy to look at it because I still do face adversity every single day of my life. I'm still ill now. I'm
Yeah.
just much better. Gone through basically holistic medicine when I made the
Mhm.
change. And Yeah, my illness is it's very easy, and for a long time I was sort of angry and resentful, I would say, because it was very easy to fall into that mindset of
I
the
bet it
victim,
was.
and I don't like that personally. I'm very much opposite of that, but like it's very easy to be like, why has this happened to me, and why is this happening to me? Could it be anyone else, or what? But the reality is, you kind of have two choices, in the sense of it's happened to you. It isn't your fault. It wasn't your choice.
Yeah.
You've just been dealt these cards. You've got two choices. You can either crumble and just, you know, be a victim of the system and be a victim of life, and just go and get a bag if you want, or take the easy routes and just you know do perhaps the wrong things, or
Yeah.
um, you can either just accept what it is and say, right, I've been dealt this, but I can do things. Let's get on with it. Let's make the best of this we
Yeah.
can. Let's turn it into. Let's flip this from massive adversity, negative to positive, and let's move forward.
So you pulled, like, you have literally come out of the other side of a situation that a lot of people would, like you said, would just sit in the background and think,
Yeah,
this is my life now. But you've pulled yourself back and you're automating your trading.
I am
So
indeed. Yeah,
how
so
how how are you enjoying that?
very much so. Yeah, so obviously I started reading because I wanted a different life. I
Yeah.
didn't. I got disillusioned really with the 9 till 5, and sort of that way of living. Found that time is freedom, and I've learned that through my illness as well. Like, if you can, master that, if you can live and spend your time, which is so precious,
Yeah.
the way that you want to, and do the things that you want to, but also earn a living and a good living with Forex, then that really is a fantastic way forward if you can put the work in and get there. Because I think the thing is, when you're in the daily grind and the 9 till 5, you really do think that kind of like time is infinite in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You think like you're just going to go on forever, but like tomorrow
Yeah.
something could happen and your life could change forever. You know, um,
Yeah. So we've just got to live every second to
yeah,
the best that we can. But everyone will live it in a different way. So just because someone's living it one way does not mean that that's right for you to be living your
yeah, no,
life the way
definitely.
I'm
It's
living it.
what you sort of as a person value. Someone
Yeah,
might enjoy spending time on their hobbies, or someone might want more time
exactly.
with their family and their dog, or like
And
I
some,
do.
yeah, someone might like enjoy being in a corporate job, and that's fine. That's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah,
If
yeah, that's fine.
everyone has their own why. So, and then you've now joined. So you are quite new to Forex Club.
Yeah, yeah.
So you started with your semi-automated trading. How did you hear about us or find us
So
basically?
through your good self, yeah. So and I've gone
Okay.
through the routes of just probably the typical social media sort of hype, in terms of I've done like spent thousands upon thousands really on EAs and
Yeah, I
courses,
bet you
and
have.
I've even tried signals and stuff, um,
Which
and sort of
people, please do not try signals. Just learn to
yeah,
trade yourself.
yeah, no, literally. I mean, I won't like name drop some, but there are some even like if you looked online for like well reviewed or like reputable signal
Yeah,
providers.
yeah.
I tried some of those as well, and it didn't really work. It only ended up negatively affecting my balance. I mean, I even did like an FTMO challenge, thinking that I could pass one with them, and it didn't. It just went the wrong way. Um, but yeah, and also like been scammed as well through Fox. So it
Yeah,
is
there's a lot of
you need to
that.
tread carefully. But I think this is what makes the Golden Suite and the Forex Club so good. I don't think uh, I don't think like someone perhaps outside looking in would realise how valuable it is, and how easy like the system that Ryan has made makes
Yeah.
it. Like literally, I've been for years either doing bouncing from strategy to strategy, bouncing from one person to another, trying this, trying that, and then you don't stick at it, you don't do this, and then or like you become disillusioned, then you have a break, and you lose a challenge, you lose this, and then it's hard. It really is hard. But if you
Yeah.
find the right place like this, I'm not saying just from me, but in my opinion, if I was talking to somebody looking from the outside in, I'd be like, okay, this is a fantastic automated strategies. using the wizard and also like the back testing.
Uh-huh.
Genuinely, like, I don't think people realize how much time that would take. Like if you look at the parameters, say from the tutorial, you might get, because you like would put moving average 1, 2, your signal
Yeah.
intensity start and ends, and then stop loss will take profits, and if you put those in, then you literally can get like 1.8 million parameters. You know, like
It's insane, isn't it?
that would take like, I'd be
We
90.
wouldn't we wouldn't even be able to do
Yeah.
that.
You know, I would be 90, and there's built Ryan, as you know, and the team have built a tool that allows you to very quickly and very easily build a strategy that you can then actually use to become
Yeah.
profitable. I think it's removed, like, I know there's not much of a barrier with forex because you can just go deposit in a broker and then lose your
Yeah.
money, but you need to know what you're doing. So there's not that barrier in terms of entry,
Exactly.
but the barrier is in terms of consistency and being profitable.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
this is a massive key to that barrier, because if you put the work in, if you if you work on your strategies and you get the data, which is right there,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna. I would say you've got a very good. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed because the markets are,
Yeah,
it's always
they do what they
there,
want. They
isn't
will
it?
literally
But yeah, I'd say you've got a very good chance of being profitable, and I think as well in the community, which is brilliant. I mean, just yesterday, I think you shared on your Instagram. Obviously, Tom is on. He's doing really well, which is great to see, and he's plumber as well, so normal people can relate. Um, so like and yourself as well. That was what attracted me in the first place, because I found it through yourself on Instagram. But I just watched a few of your videos, and I just thought, wow, this is like, a normal person like myself who I can relate to,
Yeah.
and they're not like, no offense, Ryan, disclaimer in there. They're not like 99% of the like the forex adverts you
Yeah.
see on Instagram, which are like,
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
my god, look at my
totally.
Lambo, look at me in Dubai, look at my
Yeah.
MT4, I've got like 3 million. It's like,
5 million
yeah,
floating
it's
profit,
like,
and then
I'm glad
yeah,
that
and
like
then
some of the people who are like a bit more experienced can look at them and be like, oh no, but like people would believe that, and it's very believable. But obviously Ryan's
yeah.
got like his Lamborghini, but he's worked for it, and
Well, we hope that your automation journey continues and you start you
yeah.
continue to make profit and get your strategies up and running. And as I've always said, it was a pleasure to get on that first Zoom call with you and get to know you, hear about your story, and of course you were always going to come on the Real Talk Trader podcast. So thank you so much for sharing your story.
Very welcome.
And if anyone's got any additional questions they want to ask Brad, he'll be tagged in this clip under the description. He's also on Instagram, so you can find him through my Instagram. But yeah, any questions, if you want to book in your free 30-minute call to, like Brad did before he started his journey, then guys, get it booked in. There's a link for you to book that directly with me. But we'll catch you on the next one. And thanks, Brad.
Thank you very much for having me on.